Before opening day with the Pittsburgh Pirates, I walked into the woods to visualize a colorful world in black and white. I wanted to take those photos and go from the blackest of blacks to the whitest of whites with a gradient in between. Now that I've come back from my hike, let's take those photos, bring them into Lightroom, and make them look spectacular. So here we got our very first photo. Let's take a look. You can tell in the before photo, we've got the colors and everything, and there is our after. How do we get there? It's easier than you think. So let me show you the process that I used to turn my color photo into a black and white. First thing I want to do with my color photo is I go all the way over to saturation and I drag the saturation down. Now we have a really good gray black and white photo. Step number 2 is I go up to the masks, click on it, and we want to create a mask for the sky. With our sky selected, we want to increase the contrast. Notice what happens to the upper right hand corner. It increased the blacks. So now my sky has gone to almost a dark black in the upper right hand corner, while we can still maintain some of the puffy white clouds. Step number 3, we're going to go back to the mask, we're going to click on the plus, and we want to go down to color range. Taking the eyedropper, I want to color range the whites right here on the bark. And you can see it does an excellent job of picking out those. Maybe I can refine it just a little bit. There, with all the white bark on the sycamore tree selected, we're going to do some fine tuning. Once again, bring the contrast up a little bit, increase the whites, and bring the blacks down. Good. Step number 3, we want to do the same thing, but this time select some of the darker bark so we can bring in some more of the blacks. I'm going to take my color picker and right up here in the upper hand corner, boom. Notice that it has selected all of them. I can refine it a little bit and go ahead down to where it says blacks, and let's just darken all of those blacks. I like what it does to the foreground. Step number 4 is we want to create a vignette around the photo. There are 2 ways to do this. One of them is manual, the other, let the program do the work. Scroll down to the very bottom, find vignette, and we are simply going to drag it to the right until it begins to focus all of our attention just like that. The second way to find a vignette, to go over to the left-hand side, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you can do a light, medium, or heavy vignette. And there you go. I've got a really nice picture. I like to name my photos. There's just something about it might tell a story. So for this photo, I would call it The Three Sisters. Okay, let's take a look at our second photo where we apply a different approach on turning the color photo into black and white. Here we have our second photo. You'll notice that on the left, we have the before, and on the right, we have the after. But how do we get to the after? Tried a different approach this time, and here's what I decided to do. With my photo selected, I went over to Profile Adobe Color. What I wanted to do is try the monochrome. So I clicked on Adobe Monochrome. There we've got our picture. First thing is increase the contrast. I like the way that's looking. Once I've increased the contrast, I want to go bring up the whites a little bit so we have the purest of white. We've got some white there on the fungus. Let's bring those whites out a little bit more. And then we're going to go and bring down the blacks just a tad. The photo's looking great, but there's one area that I want to correct just to help me in my own creativity. I go up to the mask and I select it, and now I'm going to take the brush tool. I want my brush size to be about the same width as this area in the bark, and I'm just going to color it in. What I'm thinking is that I would like this whole area to simply go black, because every time I look at this photo, I see something. With the brushing of this little area, I go over to blacks and I just bring it down. Boom. Now, if I take this photo and rotate it to the right, There we go. I would call this photo Crooked Smile. So here we have the before and after of the picture. You'll notice this was the great part of where a leaf just went by, and here is the final project. So now I want to show you exactly what I did. For this photo, the very first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to isolate the leaf. To do that, I went to the mask tool, clicked on object, and then I just outlined the object as best I could. From here, I want to increase the texture so it really brings out the veins inside the leaf. And we're just going to increase a little bit, and then I'm going to go up to saturation to make this golden leaf pretty golden. I navigate up to masks, I right-click, duplicate and invert. With my inverted mask selected, I'm going to go down to saturation and once again, drag it all the way down so there's 0. Now the leaf begins to pop out of the water. I go back, I want to increase the contrasts. Bring up the whites just a little bit on the water while bringing down the blacks and the shadows. And there you have it. A really cool looking like color pop black and white Ansel Adams 2023 style photo. If I had to give this photo a title, I would call it Golden Leaf, because it looks like a golden leaf floating around in a stream or a drink somewhere. Hopefully you can take some of these techniques and use your own photos and turn them from color into black and white. Leave a comment down below about any technique or style that you use that can help other people out. My name is Oliver Weah. Keep taking photos, keep shooting video, keep getting off your couch and going outside. We will see you on the next photo shoot. Woo!